when we, that is the Chinese and Indians, won independence, it's around the midpoint of the 20th century. Today, let's look at the situation. Today, about half the Indian population doesn't know when its next meal is coming. I mean, India has probably one of the highest rates of hunger in the world. And we're talking about 1.2 billion people. That's twice the population of the United States is starving inside India. Just to give you a sense. In the last decades, the Chinese government has lifted that population between 7 and 800 million people out of poverty. So let's pause. In India, which took the capitalist road, one in two Indians struggles with starvation. In China, which took the socialist road, starvation is not something that they have to deal with. It's not a big problem there. Homelessness is not a big problem. I'm just talking about basic needs. I mean, I know other people will say, what about this? What about that? I'm sticking to the essentials. For me, hunger is the irreducible. A government that cannot abolish hunger is not a government. The United States government, to my mind, Jody, is not a government. It is a shame that in this such a rich country, you have endemic hunger and increasing. You have terrible problem with hunger in the United States. You know, I don't know. I saw some numbers, 35%. This is an abomination. Los Angeles, you know, rich city. So many homeless people. How can you have such wealth and have people hungry and without shelter? That's to me the bare irreducible minimum. You can talk, you want to talk about other things. You know, I always tell people, ask me, what do you think of what's happening in Xinjiang? What do you think of Hong Kong? What do you think of this? And my feeling is we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about hunger. And let me talk personally because I'm from India. If 1 in 2 Indians could get out of hunger the way it is now, it would be amazing. And the Chinese did it. And so when we look at India and China, that's the only thing I want to focus on, frankly. I'm not evading the other things, but I want to focus on that because they were able to eradicate hunger. That is amazing by every indicator. In other words, the United Nations, all of the UN agencies have accepted the numbers of those lifted up from poverty in the last 3 decades. None of them challenge the numbers. Nobody says it's cooked. And when you visit China, and I don't just mean Shanghai, Beijing, and so on, when you go inside the interior, you see the quality of basic life has increased. This is not the same in India, and you don't have to go outside the city to see poverty in India. You can remain in Delhi, the capital city. Forget remain in Delhi. You can remain within 10-minute walk of the Prime Minister's house and you will see wretched poverty. You will see children begging on the street. I've never seen this in China, and it's not because the Chinese government keeps the poor outside the city in some concentration camp. Nonsense. It just doesn't exist anymore because they've tackled it. So to me, Jody, that's the essence of the question of what have the Chinese got, what have they done? If you look from the eyes of a hungry child in India, China is a miracle. If you want to compare China to the United States, that's a whole other different thing. You got to compare like to like. Compare India to China. It's a stunning variation in path.